The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council is called for Monday, May 18, 2026. Is called to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Andrews.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen. Councilmember Coombs. Or Mayor Pro Tem Coombs. Councilmember Gardner. Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Horton.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
There'd be a lot more people there.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Wiles. Mayor Pro Tem Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Jackson. Okay, thank you. There's a quorum.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there'll be justice and peace in our city. Give the city council and the citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of our entire community. Amen. Now, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The land acknowledgement. The city of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Executive session update today. During executive session, we discussed labor negotiations, real estate acquisition, and litigation. Motion is in order for approval of the minutes for May 4th, 2026.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
so moved.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Coombs, seconded by Councilmember Horton to approve the minutes for May 4th, 2026. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the minutes from May 4th, 2026.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Bergen, Mayor Pro Tem Coombs,
Yes.
Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes with 7 yes votes to adopt the May 4th, 2026 council meeting minutes.
Katie, we can't hear the council members that are online. I'm getting Councilmember Hancock, Councilmember Bergen, they are unmuting, but we can't hear them.
We can't hear them or they can't hear us?
We can't hear them.
Okay, because in the beginning, they couldn't hear us. And so we were working with Aurora TV, so thank you.
Okay,
I'll
just want to
them
let you know. Okay.
We need to take a recess.
Do we know, I just want to make sure that,
Yeah, can we take a few minutes of a recess?
Mayor?
The time is now 6:05. We will take a recess until 6:15, standard recess.
You can't hear us, Cecilia?
I can hear you, Councilmember Bergen. I can hear everybody on Teams. I'm working in my.
Katie, I'm in the chambers and we can hear you now.
This is bullshit.
We can hear you now, Councilmember Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you and we can hear yelling. Is a constituent being harassed?
It's okay, it's okay. It's under control here, just, yeah.
Okay, it sounds bad.
Maybe you should be at your job and be at the meeting.
Okay, Councilmember Bergen, Lawson, Hancock, can you verify that we can hear you?
This is Councilmember Bergen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? This is Councilmember Lawson.
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Councilmember Hancock. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
And Katie, Councilmember Gardner's on board now as well.
Okay, Councilmember Gardner, thank you.
Where are y'all at? Where are y'all at?
I'm sorry, Katie, we should do a sound check with him too.
But y'all ain't open it. It's only when it's a black guy is when we get all.
All right, it's 6:15, Mayor.
The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, May 18, 2026 is called back to order.
Roll call.
Let's see, did we do a okay. The next question before us is the adoption of the agenda. Motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve the agenda.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, second by?
Mayor, second.
Hancock.
Second by Councilmember Hancock to adopt the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
Katie, I'm a yes.
Was that Councilmember Hancock?
Yes, Councilmember Hancock, I'm a yes.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Coombs? Thank you. Councilmember Medina?
Yes.
Councilmember Bergen? Thank you. The motion passes unanimously to adopt the agenda.
No. Public comment announcement?
Do you want to do that first? You want me to do the regular statement first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. We're about to move into the next stage of the agenda, which is public invited to be heard. As a reminder, if you're here to speak on a specific agenda item, please do not speak during public comment because we want to make sure your comments are included in what we call the record. That is so it's considered by the City Council as part of the agenda item. So if you have signed up for public invited to be heard and you are going to speak on something on the council agenda, please go over to the city clerk's office. Katie can raise her hand and she can assist you with getting onto the right item. But again, this is for your democratic purpose to make sure your comments are a part of the record. So for that specific item. Mayor.
Thank you. The City Council has established this public forum to receive input from the community. The public invited to be heard portion of the meeting is limited by council rules to a total of 1 hour, with each speaker allotted 3 minutes. Speakers signed up to comment on agenda items are also limited to 3 minutes, and comments must relate directly to the item being considered. All participants are expected to observe the same standards of decorum as the council. Personal attacks, disruptive behavior are prohibited. Please show respect to all speakers regardless of whether you agree with their comments, and allow everyone the opportunity to be heard. Speakers who exceed the 3-minute time limit reduce the opportunity for others to speak. Please be considerate of your fellow residents when preparing your comments. Additionally, please refrain from using profanity. Public invited to be heard.
The first person that we have is Jerry Drinsky, followed by Katie Edwards.
What a difference a year makes, so says the leftist Sentinel. A year ago, haters were doing everything possible to shut down the council, screaming, threatening, monopolizing the public speaking time, and preventing those with different views from speaking. Speakers now, including the overwhelmed Allie Jackson, are calling for decorum. It seems decorum only matters when the socialists have a majority on the council. So right now, the haters are quiet. Lack of decorum from the previous council was displayed by Allison Coombs and Crystal Murillo when they walked away from the council and stood with haters. Coombs and Murillo knew the council had nothing to do with the shooting or the investigation or the decision. Yet at a time when the council needed unity, they betrayed the council, insulted their colleagues, and stood with hate. That was a major lack of decorum and will be a forever legacy of Allison Coombs and Crystal Murillo. 2 weeks ago, a speaker referenced a censure motion brought by Juan Marcano against Danielle Jurinsky. Someone should educate the speaker that Marcano was out of line on the censure. During a radio interview in January 2022, Danielle was asked her opinion on the performance of the then police chief, an opinion which turned out to be true. Her public opinion was legally upheld as Danielle was exercising free speech, and isn't free speech what the haters, socialists, and Sentinel are all about. Let's also set the record straight. The previous council helped make Aurora strong. Under this police-hating socialist council, Aurora is now weak and getting weaker.
Katie Edwards, followed by Tyrone Hamler.
Good evening. My name is Katie, and I'm a resident of Meadowood, Ward 5. Can you pause my time, please?
Let's get him out of here. Get him out. Get him out.
You can say, who the fuck told you such a thing?
Hey, per the city manager, you have one warning to stop, or you're going to be asked to leave and criminally trespass from the premise. Up to you.
That means I can't go to court next month.
Okay. You haven't stopped. One more warning, you're going to be escorted out.
One warning is one warning.
You're not even here yourself.
You can go ahead, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Katie Edwards, and I'm a resident of Meadowood, Ward 5. I'm here tonight to talk about opportunity because I believe the council has one in front of it. There's a parking lot at Hampton and Chambers that used to sit dark and empty. Today it is lit up with food trucks, neighbors gathering, kids eating, people meeting each other. This is economic development and community building, and it's happening without a single city dollar being spent. One of those truck owners is a United States veteran. Another is my neighbor in Meadowood. This past Mother's Day, they worked together to offer every mother who came out 50% off her sandwich. These are neighbors investing in this community with everything they have. One owner described a $60,000 investment just to open his doors. Research is clear. Small business and economic opportunity are among the most powerful tools any city has to reduce crime. These trucks are not a problem to be managed. They're an asset to be supported. I'm asking this council to treat them that way. The proposed rule of one truck per 15,000 square feet, roughly the size of 55 parking spaces, was presented without a single complaint log, without a single code enforcement record, without any explanation of how that number was even chosen. When code enforcement did visit, the trucks produced their licenses and made every requested adjustment without argument. There is no documented problem here. There is no crisis that requires this response. The council's time and resources are valuable. I would ask that they be directed towards challenges that are real and documented, not towards restricting businesses that are licensed, compliant, and contributing. Councilmember Lawson, you've been here more than 10 years serving this council, and yet you've gone on and engaged city staff and the Business Development Office to craft regulation targeting these food trucks. You have cited many complaints. How many is that? You have publicly stated accusations of human trafficking. I would ask sincerely, how does making it harder for a veteran to run a food truck prevent human trafficking? That's a law enforcement matter. You have run on partnering with small businesses. These are small businesses. Have you spoken to a single one of them? One of them serves Iraqi food and will pour you a small cup of black tea and tell you his entire story if you gave him 5 minutes. There is real work waiting, though. Right across Chambers, another out-of-state landlord collecting rent while a for-lease sign sits so sun-bleached and peeling it has clearly been there for many of the years you've been on council. Trash collecting in front of that vacant storefront with no commerce happening. That is what invites crime. That is where the city's energy belongs, not on the people who showed up with $60,000 of their own money to turn a dark parking lot into something the community actually uses. I invite all of you to go to my neighborhood Facebook post and see many, 30 comments supporting our small businesses.
Oh, Katie, send me your contact information.
Tyrone Hamler, followed by Candace Haddock.
Sorry, is this still an option for public invited to be heard? Okay.
Tyrone Hamler. Okay, Candace Haddock, followed by Jeffrey McFarland. Candace Haddock. Okay, Jeffrey McFarland, followed by Justin Hands. Jeffrey McFarland is first.
Good evening, City Council. Most of you already know this, but my name is Jeffrey McFarland. I'm a resident of Ward 1. Appreciate you, Janina. And I've been up here week in, week out for a litany of reasons. And I, like many others, I had a thought prepared, but then the evening went the way that it did. So then that really just allows me to segue into getting up here and genuinely trying to explain to you, since my biggest fans aren't here this evening, genuinely trying to explain to you why it is that I feel the desire to come up and be inflammatory or provocative or whatever it is that, like, borderline terroristic, according to Ms. Hancock. And the reason that I feel the need to communicate that way is not deliberately to be an edgelord. That is only part of my personality. But it's because my friends and family in this section here don't have the privilege of being, as we've clearly seen, they don't have the privilege of being loud and angry and frustrated and red in the face and like that little forehead vein that throbs. Like, they don't have the privilege of that. They get fucking shot and killed for that. But then instead, we have to talk about profanity and decorum. And I want y'all to know, and sincerely, that the First Amendment does not say anything anywhere in it about being nice. It doesn't say you got to use these right words. In fact, I think George Carlin won a Supreme Court case against the FCC about being allowed to say fuck. So considering that I'm not directing it at anybody, I'll say it as much as I please, but that's not the point. The point is that there's nothing that's acceptable to you people, right? You people. There's nothing that's fucking acceptable to you people. You can't be loud. You can't block traffic. You can't boycott. You can't picket. You can't do any, what is it exactly that we're allowed to do? Stand on the sidewalk? Throw a fucking football back and forth at a barbecue? Oh wait, no, you can't do that either because then the cops will show up. This is the point. Nobody feels appreciated, represented, or protected by the Aurora PD. Not the people in the food trucks getting shot at and then being told that they have to move because they're the reason they got shot at. Not anybody just walking down the fucking street while black. Hey, here's a thing. Flock cameras picked up a domestic dispute at the bus stop on Havana and Colfax, Pete. Cops showed up because of that flock camera footage. A buddy of mine got hit by a fucking car over the weekend. Can somebody pull me the flock camera footage for that? Can somebody tell me how he got himself home for that? And so the reason that I keep coming up here week in and week out and having y'all fucking Curtis Gardner and Stephanie Hancock tune out is because unlike the rest of you, I never challenged anybody to a fist fight sitting up against a dais, and I didn't have to speak through my daddy to speak my fucking opinion. I never had to make a fucking racist commercial to plug a fucking restaurant, and my son never killed anybody. So here's what you can do for me. You can fire Todd Chamberlain, or you can go fuck yourself. Thanks.
Justin Hands. Justin Hands, followed by Kirk Manzanares.
I'm trying to tell you, because I'm going to be here week after week. I think I'm going to make a commitment right here. Because I'm not sure. Some of you are here for the people. I'm really not. So let me read my letter so I can get to it. My name is Justin Hands, and y'all probably already know that from Facebook. Justin Melvin motherfucking Hands when I mean business. Hands. A resident of Aurora, where I have lived and called home since moving here as a kid from Gary, Indiana in the year of 2000. 362 days ago, May 21st, 2025, the Aurora Police Department SWAT team, DART team, CSI unit, patrol units, K-9, and other detectives with a crime scene analyst were dispatched to my home, where I lived in the Seven Hills neighborhood, or the intersection of Tower and Hampton. The home is a 4-story house where I lived with 2 other adults, the parents of 4 children, whom also reside there, 3 girls, 1 boy. It was approximately 10:15 in the morning. I was jumping on the trampoline with a 4-year-old girl and 2 pet dogs in the backyard, creating a video for social media. The Aurora SWAT team, police department and its many divisions, was descending on the house with a SWAT military-style truck, taking its position just in front of the home, while unmarked trucks equipped with SWAT team officers took position in nearly every single neighbor's house. For what reason? While marked patrol units blocked the street from the east and west, preventing any movement on the block to or from within or the connecting cul-de-sac. The mother of the 4-year-old came to the backyard, calling me, yelling, "Justin, look out the front door from the patio straight across." The SWAT team truck sat there. I'm looking, what the fuck is they doing? Why are you outside my house? I move people. I clean houses. I do landscaping for the last 5 years since I've been out of prison. Why the fuck is the SWAT team outside my house? Fuck the letter. We're gonna be here every week. Why is the SWAT team outside my house 362 days ago, and I'm not in jail? For a white man calling 911 on a 3-way call, playing one on Aurora Dispatch, telling them I pointed a gun at him, that the man with the 4 kids threw a gun to me. Yeah, well, I'm not your average Joe. I'm aware of the shenanigans this police department and this management of this city plays. My truck records 24/7. I never lifted my arm to him. That detective told me in the interview room he followed me for 30 days in traffic. Not once did he activate the lights or siren. 15 of those days, he had 3 active warrants, 2 for arrest and 1 to search that house. Why are you still following me? You can get me by me, not with kids, not with nobody else. You know why? Because he knew I didn't have a gun. So I'm here to tell you, we're finna be in court because I'm suing you.
Kirk Manzanares, followed by Aontae Anderson.
Mr. Hands, the city manager has given, security, Jason Batchelor, the city manager, has given approval for you to remove him from the galley and criminal trespass him for the night.
For what? Because you don't like the way I speak? I think it's fair. Call everybody. For what? I'm approaching you. For what? I'm talking to you.
It's for disrupting the meeting.
For what? I just had the mic, right?
Time to
Is the
leave.
next person here?
Time to
Is
leave.
the next person here? I'm talking to you. Is the next person?
The next thing that's going to happen is going to be the police coming to take care of this.
I have seizures. Call the ambulance too. So if you want to use force, you need to be aware of the decisions you make. Security's asking you to leave, sir. Who's asking me? Security's asking. He's a member of security? My belongings. Get some more water. Might be in there.
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute recess, Mayor, while they take care of this.
The time is now 6:35. Council will stand in recess until 6:45. The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, May 18, 2026 is called back to order. Continue, public invited to be heard.
Kirk Manzanares, followed by Aontae Anderson.
My name is Kirk Manzanares, and I come today with two topics. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And for anybody that has a friend or family or loved one that has someone that is struggling with mental health, don't tell them what they should do or how they should do it, or you should be doing it this way, or pull your head out, or snap out of it. Tell them, I love you. What can I do to help you? How can I help you? So that's the first topic. You know, I came here tonight, I was hyped up myself because I started a new movement in the city of Aurora. It's called PACMO. Ask me about PACMO. PACMO is Positive Aurora Community Movement. And tonight I was out front. I tried to get people to ask me about PACMO, and he was one of the people that came over and asked me about PACMO. And I told him what it was. We had a decorum meeting last week, and we talked about it, and I thought it was a very successful meeting, and it's just a small step in the right direction. So I came in tonight to shake hands on this side of the aisle. You know, I don't like that we're on the right and to the left and to the center, and then we have city council, city employees that are sectioned off. Do we stink? I took a shower before I came here. You know, if they don't want to sit with us, they can sit in the Aurora room. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. So I came over to shake hands, and as soon as I walked away, they said something really nasty about me. I didn't hear it, but he did. So that's what happened tonight. You know, when I made a gesture to do something kind and do something positive, then somebody said something nasty. And then we had somebody that it set them off. Okay? So I want to know what you love about Aurora, because I love Aurora. I love that we have the most culturally diverse people in the state of Colorado. I love that we have the most beautiful scenery out here from the eastern plains down to the mountains. I love it that we have the best restaurants in the state of Colorado. I love it that we have the most beautiful city council sitting up here that I feel like I can talk to, and you're my family. I love you, Pete. Sorry for the loss of your dog. I don't know what I would do if Billy Boy was to pass. I noticed that Mike's been posting pictures about his dog. I'd love to meet your dog. Billy Boy would love to have a play date. Jason, I want you to help me out on PACMO. I want you to help me out, Gina, on PACMO. I want you to help me on PACMO. I want to spread what's positive about Aurora, what you love about Aurora, and why you love Aurora.
Aontae Anderson, followed by Median Schaffner.
My remarks this evening were to be centered on Kylan Jr. graduating from high school. Something that still must be said, that a young black man still was able to overcome the odds of even losing his father, not by a disease, not by an accidental car accident, but by a murder of a PD. That is what the 3 minutes today was supposed to be fully focused on. However, we had a disruption that will be painted and put on the back of a black man, but we won't talk about the 2 white people that engaged with the black man first to cause the disruption. The fact that there was no admonishment from anybody in this chamber from hearing the words, "go back to your country," whether you heard that woman or individual, that man say it or not, there was nobody who said, "Wait a minute, what did you say they just said?" Nobody stopped the meeting and said, "Wait, we got to address this." Aurora can't put itself as the #1 leader of diversity, and then you have people saying, "Go back to your country." I don't know where the fuck I am supposed to go back to. I was born in Kansas, and last time I checked, that was still a part of the United States of America. I also want to make sure that we give deference to the black women and the black woman who stepped up. It wasn't K-Dot or Ayante trying to de-escalate. It was we were following the lead of Median, the black woman who was courageous enough to stand up when you called multiple police officers to address this individual. The black woman who was trying to consistently make sure that we were being a barrier when the police officers were still encroaching. So the record must be corrected that it wasn't K-Dot or Ayante, it was Median. And sometimes that might pain you to say her name after she whooped your ass in court. However, it is imperative for us to always uplift those who are leading and always have been pushed to the back of the line. And I'll end with this. I look forward to the same trespassing. I look forward to the same energy given to the commentary of the woman who still sits in here, of who said, "Go back to your country," which set off the chain of events. If that's not addressed, we have an issue.
Median Schaffner, followed by LaRonda Jones.
I will join in on the congratulations to Kylan Lewis Jr. for graduating high school. And I also want to say thank you to Kylan's family for allowing me to be present and breathe the air watching that amazing moment happen. I too plan to come up and talk to you about something different. But what we saw before this meeting happened, or as this meeting was happening, needs to grapple with all of us. So I'm going to try to slice down what we saw. Each and every one of you on this dais, the security in this building, you just upheld a system of racism. These questions are obviously rhetorical because you can't engage, but I hope it brings you into reflection. When a white woman told a black man to go back where he came from, and that black man responds to what is blatant racism, and every ounce of surveillance goes to that black man, you are upholding a system of racism. I watched as people approached, trying to, what I think was good intention of de-escalating. Your eyes were only on him. No one looked the woman that caused this in the eye at all. She sat comfortably. And throughout this entire process, all the way up to the point where the city manager tells him, "Now you gotta get out," because, oh no, that's too much. Surveillance was on him. And the white woman who said, "This black boy whistled at me," is still sitting in this chamber comfortably, able to engage in a democratic process that this young man is now no longer able to do this evening? How many of you, when this happened, felt like you didn't know what to do? What do I do? If that was you, you need to reflect. How many of you looked and said, we've got to ensure that we take care of the threat? And that threat was the black man. If that was you, you need to reflect. The other thing that we saw very active in this room was when your police engaged, they did not de-escalate. They escalated, and it was the community that came in and de-escalated. The community can take care of itself.
LaRonda Jones, followed by Kiowa Lewis.
And I still have something to say about the ordinance. Damn it.
No, that's the second round.
Okay, you want to come over here where they can see it? Okay. I want to congratulate my grandson, Kylin Aaron Lewis Jr. on graduating with honors. His enormous heart is a product of his father, Kylin Lewis, who was judged, tried, and convicted before getting all the facts. He would never have his day in court because he was murdered premeditatively. Our family still has yet to receive the unedited body cam footage. Correct. You do realize I did say unedited. And lawyer too.
Lawyers have it.
Yes, the family has yet to still receive the unedited body cam footage. I want to direct my conversation this evening towards Mayor Kaufman and all the others who are standing in opposition of what we are doing. To all of you who meant evil towards us, God has turned it around for our good. A resolution and SB 26-190 was passed.
That's right.
The words you've spoken and things you've done to our family, I have put in a box, put a ribbon on it, and put a nice bow around it. I have taken this box and used it for my motivation to fight harder than ever before. I'm equipped with a powerful team to make change in law for my family and our communities, like Medine Schaffner, Ayante Anderson, President Senator Coleman, Senator Wiseman, Representative Bacon, Kellen Lanier, the Black Caucus, and a host of others. There are still actual council members working in our favor right now, which I'm looking at with a smile. And more people will join this fight as we move forward in our purpose. I declare to you, when it's all said and done, those same ones that stood against us, that spoke false narratives, who marked us, who called us terrorists and disruptors, who said that we are all in it for the money, I'll make them all our footstools. There's a lot of work to be done to make changes into law, which will include long days and nights. We must commit to endure it until that's what hard work and commitment does for us.
Kiowa Lewis, followed by Della Jordan.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you all so much, especially the people who opposed what it was that we needed to do or that we couldn't get done. Y'all told us it wasn't going to happen. I heard y'all make remarks to my mom saying, good luck, you know, us. And I told y'all this when this all happened. And I'm not talking to the ones that is Team Us. I'm talking about to the ones that were not Team Us. So if you Team Us, this message is not for you, right? So I sit here because there is a lot of people, regardless of your religious background, regardless of your political background, whatever the case was, y'all chose not to stand with us, right? But I kept telling y'all, because I really didn't know what to say. But Yahweh placed it on my heart to say what I needed to say. So with that being said, I just want to say, I appreciate all of this. Thank y'all all so much. Because we are at we're at a time where things are about to change. And it's not just for us, it's for everybody. So anybody watching this, boy, y'all gonna actually start asking people to move here to Colorado, right? Because the thing is, we're getting things changed around here. Something that y'all should have done a long time ago. Long time ago. But you know what? It had to fall in the right hands. And I'm not talking about just Yahweh's hands. He had to put other people in place to show the power of what he represents. And he represents us as the people. So I just want to say, again, thank y'all so much. I do. Y'all have no clue. Like I told y'all before, I love y'all. Well, I love y'all. I really do. And I only can smile. And I remember I told y'all that I want to bestow curses upon everybody who does not want to change their hearts. But the thing is, it's coming. I don't got nothing else to say. Because my Lord and Savior is like, just sit back and watch what I do. Watch how it all unfolds. And as it's all unfolding, y'all think y'all still in the clear? Oh, like I said, this is just the beginning. I go to my nephew's graduation, and I hear them call his name. You know, we cheer. I stand up, we ring the bells or whatever. But I take a moment to go and have a conversation to myself, about my nephew, to my brother, right? I'm shedding tears, but I go to where nobody sees where I go. I get up and leave, right? But when I tell you, it took for y'all to make this intentional mistake that Yahweh, like my mom said, took this box, put a bow.
Della Jordan. She's not. I don't think so. T-Tag, followed by J.B. Carroll.
Okay, paz, Pendays. Do you ever feel just worthless, cosplay cockman? Mayor Mandami is just rocking it, in case you haven't seen what he's doing in just the short amount of time that he's been in office. While he's been in this short amount of time, and you've been in 2 whole terms, I can say that He's gotten rid of his potholes, and Aurora has potholes that I can basically take up residency in. He has got transparency going on and a website that we can see that on. Meanwhile, you are lying about your rogue APD gang. And you have your state of the city, whatever it is, and you're lying about the Aurora Navigation Center when you have your city council members, media, and citizens calling you out about it. Oh, and don't forget about slumlords, the slumlords that we, the taxpayers, are paying lawsuits to, and Mondami is calling them out. And, oh, we have debt, and Mondami zeroed them out in New York City, you guys. Oh my God. But anyway, we're not talking about you. So you all want to talk about privilege. I think it was these two that wanted to talk about privilege. Let's address privilege and what that's like. I handed Miss Katie here the Wheel of Power and Privilege, and I made a copy, a color copy, very clear so that all of you can take a look at what that is. And I would like you to please look at that and spend some time. And while you're doing that, if you could please touch grass, learn, and look at that. I would appreciate that. I don't want to sound like a bitch, but I want to put you on watch. Okay? I want to let you know one thing about me that my therapist says is a plus and a minus. My autism can detect bullshit before the bull even knows it's going to shit. I've been doing some research on this consent decree, and with the monitoring committee and the fact that we're going to pass almost faster than any other city ever. FYI, we're going to pass this consent decree in February of 2027.
And please address
Okay.
the dais.
Okay, well, although APD is still murdering people, recruiting at KKK rallies, not improving community relations, and hardly has met any of their metrics, and also not including Ward 1 in their questionnaires. So buckle up, buttercups. I've started to get involved with all kinds of your incestuous relationships. Starting with Jeff Shangler and his Key Point company and his good old InfoWars buddy Art and their relationship in Texas, and now his new company here. Don't think I don't know, we don't follow the money. Karma is justice, and it's purest form.
J.B. Carroll, followed by K-Dot. J.B. Carroll. Okay, K-Dot, followed by Tristan Hoost.
Well, I'm barely ever really speechless. Good evening, Aurora. I'd like to acknowledge two monumental things that happened this month. First and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge my cousin, Kylan Jr., and him. This is the example. More than the examples of decorum, this is Black excellence right here, okay? And Michael, I noticed you didn't clap. So that says a lot about your character, so fuck you. The second thing I'd like to acknowledge is that we got a monumental bill passed into law on the hints of my family and Medine and Tay. I appreciate that, and now we'll have a lot more transparency, accountability when it comes to the decorum of police, Aurora police in our neighborhood. So, but yes, so I would like to acknowledge those two beautiful things. Debbie, look what you started. Look what you started on decorum, okay? But at the end of the day, we need to value our freedom of speech like we are right here. This is greatness, Debbie. This is what greatness looks like. And I still see you in that clown suit. And the only thing that you're missing is a red button nose. That's the only thing that you're missing. That's all you're missing. And say hi to your brother. Okay. Trying to hold it in, Auntie, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of the accomplishments that was done this month, and hopefully we can move forward, and Aurora Police will make better choices, and council, I expect you guys to hold them accountable when it comes to their actions. So, thank you.
Tristan Hoost, followed by In West.
Good evening, Aurora City Council. My name is Tristan, and I am with the Denver Aurora Community Action Committee, the ACAC. I have stood before you before, and I know I'll be back again. And I am tired. Not tired of speaking, just tired of still needing to. Every time I come here, there's another name. Last time it was Amar Garlington, 23 years old, killed by Aurora Police Department during a mental health crisis. We all remember how everyone apparently still thinks it's a good idea to bring a dog to a mental health crisis. 2 years ago, it was Kylan Lewis, May 23rd to be exact. We're having his anniversary then. His family is still seeking justice. They are on the beginning of that. They are here today talking to you. He should still be alive today. He was on his knees holding a cell phone. He was just minding his business. His hands were raised when they shot him. Todd Chamberlain will tell you nothing could have been done differently. He always does. He spins, he deflects, he protects his officers and smears the dead. Corey Dillard, Rashad Johnson, Rajon Belt Stubblefield, Blaze Ball Mason, Amar Garlington, Kylan Lewis, Elijah McLean. How many names will it take? And every time we come here to demand accountability, someone tells us to watch our tone, to have decorum, as KDOT was pointing out earlier, to be more respectful. Let me be very clear. I have not threatened anyone, I have not called for violence, and I have done what the Constitution guarantees. I have come before my government to demand accountability for the people my government keeps killing. If the worst thing I do is use a swear word while describing a police murder, then I am still more respectful than a police chief who lies about the dead on live television. You want decorum? I want my community to stop dying. Todd Chamberlain came from the LAPD, a department notorious for racism and violence. He was sued and lost a discrimination case. He was transferred for harassment. He was a commanding officer during the Rodney King beatings, and you hired him to lead a police force under a federal consent decree for racism. We're still under that. That decision has cost real lives. People with names, people with families, people who will never come home. You have the power to end this. One action. Instruct the city manager to fire Todd Chamberlain. Not another study, not more training, not a committee. Fire him. And then give us community control of the police. A civilian police accountability council. Power in the hands of the people, not the people who keep killing us. Kylan should still be alive. Amar should still be alive. Corey, Rashad, Rajon, Avi. How many more names will you let pile up before you act? I missed the deadline to speak on agenda item 11A3, but I think you know where I stand. Thank you.
In West, followed by Linda Rohan.
First of all, I want to make it very clear that I stand with these families in congratulation of Kylan Lewis Jr., who has indeed represented Black excellence. But I want to share a little bit of a story. 2018 to 2020, I had the honor of serving with the Aurora Community of Faith as the education chair. And during that time, I helped host the Martin Luther King Jr. Interfaith Breakfast, where we welcomed the newly elected Mayor Mike Hoffman and members of the City Council and even the Chief Police at the time. And I also invited a respected pastor who served as our keynote speaker. And his message centered on the urgent need for leaders and law enforcement alike to lead with empathy, to lead with compassion and dignity, especially towards those who had backgrounds that were different from them, experiences and appearances that were different from their own. And at that time, that message felt both timely and very prophetic. It was a call for our city's leadership, police department, faith community, and residents to embody the principles of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who championed justice, humility, humanity, nonviolence, and the sacred value of every life. Yet, in recent years since, Aurora has continued to experience heartbreaking tragedies, including the deaths of Elijah McClain, Jalen Sebron, Kylan Lewis, and others who lost their lives with encounters with law enforcement. These incidents have deeply wounded many within our community and raised painful questions about trust, accountability, equity, and public safety. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King, he reminded us that true peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. His vision really challenged not only systems of oppression, but also communities of faith to move beyond silence and become active agents of reconciliation, advocacy, and moral courage. As a faith community, Aurora Community of Faith has an opportunity, and I believe a responsibility, to continue answering that call that was set forth. This means fostering meaningful dialogue between residents and law enforcement, advocating for policies rooted in dignity and accountability, creating spaces for healing and lament, and standing alongside families and communities who have been impacted by violence and injustice. And that's what I see this group of people doing, along with several
Linda Rohan, followed by Veronica Sebron.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. It wasn't my intention to speak tonight. I live in Aurora. I represent the League of Women Voters as an Observer Corps member, but given the events that have happened in this room this evening, as Audre Lorde said, your silences will not protect you. It took me, I'm embarrassed to say, many years, well into my middle age, to realize how I benefit from institutional racism, white privilege, and generational wealth. I have 2 sons. They're white. I never once had to worry about their safety because of the color of their skin. We aren't actually white. Someone in this room commented, this is not white paper, but whatever color I am, it's wrinkled paper at this point. I have been witness to people in my demographic, old white women in this chamber, making racist comments in the 2 years I've been observing this council. I also had to listen to Todd Chamberlain allege that he had spoken to someone in ICE and that 70% of people in ICE retention had criminal records. The ICE statistics, and you can validate this with the Cato Institute, a very conservative institute, 73%, this is from ICE, are without criminal convictions. And of those, only 5% have violent convictions. This relates to all of us, a home rule city, because it is our obligation to make people feel welcome here. It is our obligation, whether we're a person of color sitting on this dais or not, to recognize what generational wealth is like. And every single person on this dais, you're comfortable with public speaking. I am hell-bent uncomfortable here. Medine was right. I didn't stand up for that black gentleman because I was scared. And I shouldn't be scared. I'm old, white, and female. The last thing I am is young, black, and male. So I ask all of you, please hold your city employees accountable for absence of facts. And I will be a better steward as a League of Women Voters person, monitoring facts, because when people come in this chamber and say provocative things, or your chief of police says provocative things, it encourages an absence of peace in our community. That said, I am grateful to be a part of this city. I love the diversity in this city, and I'm very grateful for the people I've had one-on-one interactions with in this dais and online, if Councilmember Lawson is online. Thank you.
Veronica Sebron.
First, I want to point out what happened to Kylan Lewis is not the norm. So for Kylan Jr. to graduate is not the norm.
Correct.
That should be recognized. This will be congratulated no matter what happens or how you feel in this chamber. I came with a speech ready, prepared to talk about so many things, but that has changed many times as I have sat here. I will start by saying in the decorum meeting that I attended, I want to point out that I stated then that the action is never remembered like the reaction is publicized. So tonight, I did want to address and talk about active listening. Not the kind that waits for a turn to respond, not the kind that waits on you to make that decision based on your opinion, but that sits in the truth. Because families like mine walk into this chamber and we are carrying unheard cries, unseen tears, the kind that shape our foundations. And over time, our families learn to build walls. Walls to survive, walls to protect ourselves, walls to hold up the weight of grief that no one else seemed willing to carry. For this, grace and decorum should be allotted, not judged. So when we come here and ask, we are not asking from a place of comfort, we are asking from being left behind. We have to build our own self-protection walls. So we are asking you to understand what it takes for us to even show up. We are asking you to recognize every plea we make is built on lived trauma and hope that someone in power will finally choose to listen. This community, my community, has made an impact that we tried to let you be first. We tried to let you be a part of. Each county is now on rafts, but you can still catch up to this ship. because we are selling with SB 26190. It is taken state. And with that, I want to point out and ask, what's wrong with this chamber? If we could sit in the state capitol and decorum is not a question because we were heard.
Come on. Come on.
We could have came up with solutions and change together. It is simple to have active listening. It is simple to change the decorum you are uncomfortable with by just being heard.
Come on. All right.
That was the last person.
The motion is in order for the adoption of the consent calendar on motions, item number 10C, item number 10C1.
Mayor.
Councilman Bergen.
Oh, Councilmember Bergen.
Motion to approve item 10C1.
Moved by Councilmember Bergen, seconded by?
Medina.
Seconded by Councilmember Medina to approve item number 10C1. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 10C1.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Andrews. Thank you. Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes with 9 yes votes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Next question before us, or motion is in order for the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances, items number 11A1 to 11B2.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
motion to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions, item 11A1 through 11B2.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Second.
I'm sorry, seconded by Councilmember Medina?
Mayor.
Who seconded?
Seconded by Andrews, but I realized we do need to pull 11A2 for the substitute motion.
Okay.
Mayor, yeah, do you need a motion to pull 11A2? Because I was going to pull it.
Okay, 11A2, okay.
So now the motion is 11A1, 11B1, 11B2.
Okay.
It's ready to be approved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem. Who seconded it?
Andrews?
And Councilmember Andrews seconded it. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1. Item number 11A1. I'm sorry, and 11B1 to 11B2. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question.
Councilmember Jackson. Thank you. Councilmember Hancock. The motion passes with 8 yes votes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with item 11A2 removed.
Would the clerk please read the title to item number 11A2?
Item 11A2 is Resolution 2026-55, directing the city manager to implement a policy regarding Aurora Police Department communications. And Mayor, we do have individuals from the public who would like to speak.
Very well.
The first person.
Mayor.
Hold on one second. Before we do that, we got to do the motion substitute, so.
Oh, okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the public for your patience. We do have a substitute version of the resolution. What that includes is replacing the first clause with a directive regarding following existing policy and workflows related to communications. And then the second section has amendments to ensure that public safety emergencies and concerns will be instances where immediate publication of information can be made. And I'll hand it over to the city attorney just to add any further detail there.
Well, is there a second for the substitute motion?
Second.
It's moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. So over the weekend, City Communications under the leadership of Director Kim Stewart did inform council and myself that there were existing policies, procedures, and workflows that existed in the city that apply to all departments, including the police department. So upon talking to many council members, they asked me to address the amendments, and what Mayor Pro Tem did state is true, and it is asking APD and the city manager to review and amend as necessary the established city communications policies, procedures, and workflows that apply to all city departments to make sure it aligns with the entire city communications. And then the second part, as Mayor Pro Tem did mention, is it absent a true public safety emergency or concern, as will be defined in those policies, APD won't post the mugshots and or suspect names publicly until the subject has pled guilty, been convicted of a crime, unless the city manager approves otherwise on a case-by-case basis. So as Mayor Pro Tem stated, in those situations that I think will be defined in the policy that the city manager will review, those incidents like if they're looking for a wanted person that we need to find. Second of all, if it's somebody that has been arrested for a crime, maybe assaulting young children, that we're looking for more victims. And third, the individuals that may pose a safety threat to the public. Those are going to be those things that are going to apply where putting the name and the picture out of the individual would be appropriate. But in general posts, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong on this, in general posts, until there's an adjudication or somebody pleads guilty, APD can continue to do the posts that they do, like they do with juveniles. But when they do the post, they just will leave the name and the mugshot out. They can still showcase what they're doing, except it doesn't have that impact on a person's life, because they could be acquitted later, and that's been the concern. Is that correct, Jason? Yeah.
I would. The only thing I would add is obviously that the mugshot and the person's names are subject to CCJRA, so Criminal Justice Records Act. So those could be requested, including by a media outlet that could choose to publish them. But the direction of this resolution is to not have the police department do that on their social medias.
Okay, discussion?
Public comment. Let's do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comment?
Oh, wait, sorry, Mayor. We have to vote on this. So this is now going to be, the vote's going to be now replacing the motion that was emailed to all you today with the one that was in the packet, and then you can debate and discuss that one once, if this motion passes.
Okay.
Yeah, so motion.
Discussion on the substitute motion. Seeing none, I call for the question on the substitute motion.
Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see.
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen?
There's been a request for Councilmember Andrews to recuse himself from this particular item due to the DUI that's an active DUI case in Arapahoe County District Court that stemmed from the APD arrest.
Attorney. City Attorney.
So I don't see under our rules of conflict, I don't see where Councilmember Andrews is required to recuse himself. Now, he may if he so chooses, but he's not required to do so based on a conflict of interest. I will tell you that upon talking to the 18th Judicial District Attorney, their office is no longer handling this case. This has been turned over to the Denver DA's office and is being prosecuted in Denver's county court. I'll leave it to Councilmember Andrews if he chooses to. It's not, I don't think that it matters, that you need to, but it's up to you.
Further discussion?
Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem.
This conversation is not to the motion?
Fair enough. So it's, any more debate on the motion? Yeah.
Okay. Further debate on the substitute motion? And I would take that as a point of personal privilege. Thank you. Seeing no further debate, call for the question on the adoption of the substitute motion.
I'm a yes. This is Councilmember Hancock.
The motion passes with 6 yes votes, 3 no votes from Councilmember Bergen, Gardner, and Lawson to substitute the resolution that was in the agenda packet with the new amended resolution.
All right, now public comment.
Okay, public comment.
Median Schaffner, followed by Tanya Tabachek.
So I'm going to start my comments out by making a community request that Councilwoman Bergen recuse herself from this process, simply because that was extra. The resolution that is being presented for adoption gives you all an opportunity. The first thing that I'll say is that this now postures you to start thinking about the culture shift that is inevitably coming to the Aurora Police because of Senate Bill 190 being signed into the law books. When we were doing stakeholding on that legislation, the Aurora Police was the prime example of what we needed to get into that law with statutory language that turned into good policy. So your police department was case study in the reason why we need a law that ensures that police do not make subjective observation or extrajudicial statements when they are communicating with the public. So I implore you to ensure that this resolution is now an opportunity for you to craft different outcomes. Your police department, through the leadership of Josh Chamberlain, has single-handedly shown us exactly what it means to lead without any guardrails of respect to due process. There are so many that seemingly identify with a conservative agenda that want to claim that they respect the law and that the law is critical to how the Constitution needs to be played out. But interestingly enough, when the narrative tips the scale of due process and it upholds a system that continues to subject communities of culture to those harms, all of a sudden, it becomes radical or socialist. So the narrative is confusing, and the reason why it's confusing is because it's inconsistent. So asking law enforcement to show restraint and to actually give facts to the community is not radical. What is radical is trying to uphold a system that does just that. So we are watching, and we implore you to vote for this resolution, and we will keep record of those who don't. Francois, recuse yourself, dear.
Tanya Tabachek, followed by Jeffrey McFarland. Jeffrey McFarland, followed by Alejandra Marilarana.
How many people do we have signed up, do you know? This is
number 3.
Hold on, I'll let you clear your throat, get your water, and all your other stupid bullshit, because I'm back up here, and I'm here to tell you that passing this resolution is the bare minimum you can do to acknowledge the fact that people want things to be different. People don't want a bunch of cronies and their fucking dorks and their buddies all from LA all coming and running our city in Colorado. I don't want a bunch of district attorneys and mayors and fucking city managers and whoever living in Westminster but having a say in how I live off of Colfax and Havana. Here's the other thing about it is that it's to frame this as anti-police to me is absolutely insane. The very notion that Maybe we shouldn't let Todd Chamberlain just make shit up, and then you shouldn't post about it on your own Facebook page and call it a means of debate. By the way, you were right when you said there are people that won't stop just short of ICE's abolishment. Yeah, that's the fucking idea, bro. But moving on from that, this resolution is literally the bare minimum. It's just a bare minimum. It's, as Median said, it's really a litmus test to see whether or not you're still going to be allowed on the fucking boat when we take the wheel. And most of you are failing miserably. Curtis Gardner, Stephanie Hancock, Angela Lawson, and Francois Bergen, I need your fucking opinions like I need a second vasectomy. Mike Kaufman, you're like right there behind him. I'm telling y'all that I do not give a shit about the fact that Curtis Gardner, who called the call for a ceasefire resolution all the way back, I'm sure you remember this, Allison, he called it political grandstanding. This is just a resolution saying that maybe cops like Kevin Rodier and Ryan Shamblin and Brandon Mills and all these other fucking murderers shouldn't just be allowed to post whatever they want on social media. Go look at the fucking obituary page, Pete, Mike, Jason. You haven't looked up one fucking time this whole night, you useless fuck. Go look at the obituary pages for Rashad Johnson. Go look at the obituary pages for Corey Dillard. Get online and look them up and look to see what that shit says. Look what fucking horrible shit is on there. And who do you think sitting amongst us is the type of person to say and condone that? I bet you I can guess. So here's what we want, is we want you to pass this resolution knowing full well that it is where we are going to start. It is where we are going to start. And what a simple start it is, huh? Hey, maybe Todd Chamberlain shouldn't just be allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants. Hey, by the way, Todd, if you really are buddies with the ICE director, tell them fuck them too. Because we're coming for each and every one of your positions. I don't know what's hard to understand about it. It started small. I wouldn't even be here if y'all had listened to this family. If y'all had listened to this family and given them their apology 2 years ago, done anything at all, I wouldn't be active in this scene and you wouldn't be standing here listening to me. So it's your own fucking fault. So how about you do the bare minimum and pass this resolution? How's that?
I'm so sorry, I can't say your last name. Marina Lorena?
She's right here.
She's here, okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Alejandra Mariña Larena, and I'm a resident of Ward 3. I am in support of Resolution 11A2, emergency resolution to implement a policy regarding Aurora Police Department communications. The social media accounts of APD are extremely concerning and does not match the community's experience. 6 days ago, APD posted about the SAVE program, stating that Aurora SAVE is a focused deterrence intervention strategy designed to reduce youth gun violence in the city. However, on April 20, dozens of youth came to speak to you all to describe the ways that Aurora SAVE has negatively impacted them and stereotyped them. Just goes to show that what APD is posting doesn't match the community's experience. But anyway, APD social media is full of propaganda. It posts inflammatory content that breeds comment sections full of bigotry and hate. APD has a responsibility to ensure that it is not providing spaces where hateful rhetoric is shared. In the month of May, APD has posted 6 posts about active investigations. On a post made on May 7, there are comments like, let me guess, Edgar 1 and Edgar 2, last name Perez, Rodriguez, Lopez, Sanchez, Martinez. There goes Juan 1, 2, and 3. We need to start prosecuting parents. In this post, APD posted the people's full government name, essentially digitally marking these people as criminals for life for crimes like burglary or car theft. And my question is, isn't the point of this the justice system rehabilitation? How is APD publishing these stories helping people transition into rehabilitation? Out of the 6 posts, only one of them was a white man. This does not reflect the state's actual crime rates and demographics. An entity like the Aurora Police Department should be extremely intentional with the language it uses and the stories shared when posting on social media. As police departments and governments know, the content you put out creates a powerful public narrative. What public narrative does APD want to create when publishing stories that mostly include Latino or Black people as the perpetrators and using language framing themselves as the heroes? As a resident of Aurora, I call on the City Council to also establish community control of the police and to pass this resolution. Thank you.
LaRonda Jones, followed by Kiowa Lewis.
So I'm gonna start out saying you should pass this resolution with no doubt. For the simple reason, other families wouldn't have to go through what I have gone through these past 2 years. They don't have to go through people hearing a false narrative about their loved one before giving facts. They going off of skin color, and if the person have a record of other things that it entails, so they just playing a guessing game at that point. When they go on the media telling about that person who has been murdered, as my son was, premeditatedly. And so voting yes on this bill give all of us a chance to hear factual information before defaming that person on media, which make the people already in their mind saying, oh, they're guilty, what did they do? Before receiving the facts. And also, we all collaboratively work so hard, put in numerous hours, days and nights, to work with the people that we needed to get this bill passed. So it can be a structural model for this state, this whole entire state, not just this county, to put in effect. And also I want to mention, this burden is on my mind right now, because the very reason why we put this in effect is because people like her putting out false information before receiving the truth. For the last 3 times I've been here, she's been on Rob Andrews' case. And what do that show for you guys? That you guys don't got it together. You can't come together as collectively to make positive choices and decisions for the community because you can't get along with each other. You down in one another. And that's not a good look, Bergen. Because you said you're here to serve the community. That's not a good look for the community. So I suggest that you get off of Rob, talk to him personally, not publicly like that, if you have that to say about him. We definitely don't appreciate it. So therefore, please stop doing that. So once again, I ask that you all vote a yes to this resolution to help us move forward, that we can work collectively, because I believe we can actually get things done if we work together.
That's right.
Kiowa Lewis, followed by Aonte Anderson.
Oh, they unplugged it? Oh, dang. No, I'm talking about I need to raise this. All right, did y'all hear? Oh man, that Bergen lady, she was caught stealing in the grocery store, and then she kidnapped a kid, and then she came back with a gun, and then next thing you know, she robbed a 7-Eleven. Doesn't that sound ridiculous, right? So you sit up here, this bill, well, let me go ahead and finish this. It spreads all over social media. Mike Kaufman was a getaway driver. All this stuff happened, you know, and then next thing you know, that girl, what's her name, Stephanie Hancock, was like, let's go. We're going to go ahead and go back to my motherland and I'm gonna go ahead and turn y'all black. Did y'all hear about this, right? I say that to say there's a lot of things that happen. And that was just an example. All that stuff was false. None of it is true, right? My brother was accused of something that never, ever happened. Ever happened. Aurora signed off on this false, what is it called? Where they come in and, warrant. Yeah, thank you. Oh, that was Denver? It was one of those two. Okay, so here we go. The thing with this bill prevents is when all this stuff is said and done, these body cams have to be submitted, and it has to be evidence, and it cannot be hearsay, and it cannot be a lot of stories that actually people put out, and then y'all feed the media and make it seem like it's true, and then y'all taint the evidence, of everything. This is part of the reason why my brother was murdered by y'all, by Aurora, because so much false information had been given, I support this bill. I support this bill because the last thing we need is anybody, I don't care what your race is, for you to end up on the wrong side of the judgment pool, of the courts, of whatever the case is, and lose your life. And worse than that, be convicted of something that you never, ever, ever did. This bill helps support that. We don't need this to continuously keep happening. We need to not only make our safety better, but make this city as a whole better. It's good that we're going to actually start holding people accountable. This is just the beginning. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So I support this bill. I do. I'm out.
Ayante Anderson, followed by Aaron Futrell.
Good evening, Council. I want to be very clear tonight that this resolution is not anti-police. It is anti-unchecked power. And frankly, the fact that Aurora even needs a resolution telling the police department that they cannot act as their own political communications machine should concern every person that resides in the city of Aurora. Because somewhere along the way, APD forgot something fundamental. They are a department of the city of Aurora, not a separate government. Nobody elected APD to decide public policy. Nobody elected APD to shape legislative narratives. Nobody elected APD to publicly try people before they ever see a courtroom. But for years, that is exactly what has happened. Mugshots posted before convictions, names blasted across social media before due process, press releases written to secure public sympathy before the facts are fully understood. And let's stop pretending we do not know who gets harmed the most by that system. Black people, brown people, poor people, communities that have generations of distrust towards this department for very real reasons. Because once the government posts your face online and labels you as a criminal, the damage is already done. Even if the charges disappear. Jobs disappear, opportunities disappear, reputations disappear, but APD gets their press cycle. And that is exactly why this resolution matters. Now, I know some people tonight will act as if basic oversight is an attack on law enforcement. No. What actually is dangerous is a police department operating without accountability. What is dangerous is a department acting like public relations matters more than constitutional rights. What is dangerous is that a city government is too afraid to rein in their department that has repeatedly brought a national embarrassment to their city. Elijah McClain wasn't that long ago. Rajon Belt Stubblefield wasn't that long ago. Kylan Lewis wasn't that long ago. And the list continues to go on. Because democracy requires civilian oversight. It requires accountability, and it requires the courage to say that no department, including the police department, is above the people. Now, I'm going to help APD on this episode of To Catch a Predator. Here is a mugshot that I'm going to show to you that you can go ahead and post on APD social media because this individual is a predator and he lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So I've given you his address. His name is Donald John Trump. Yep. Please make sure you send APD to catch a predator.
Aaron Futrell, followed by Shannon Peterson.
How many do we have?
Good morning or evening. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mayor. Anyate is always a hard act to follow. But I'm going to start with this. As I was coming here, I Googled writers who were dyslexic. Some of the greats, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Jules Verne, Agatha Christie. I bring that up because we're talking about a resolution that is speaking about our APD chief not being able to go on social media and post inflammatory comments about people who have not been found guilty. Originally, I was with the conservatives. I was like, no, this violates the First Amendment. But then as it was explained to me by the co-sponsor, Allison Combs, I understood more and more why this is actually necessary and just a formality. If you guys don't know, there's a reason Median calls the Chief Chamberlain Josh. It's because of an inflammatory statement that he made at a public meeting that made it to social media. That basically, a week ago, we were speaking about, we were at the public decorum meeting, and I brought up that inflammatory statements on social media is a cause of a lot of this mess with the decorum here. And again, this resolution basically says we need decorum in the city, and it starts with our leadership, APD. The only thing that this resolution is missing is what is APD going to face discipline-wise if they're caught basically violating this order from the city manager. So basically it's like going into Texas Roadhouse, ordering a steak and not getting the potatoes. We need to add the potatoes to this resolution because decorum needs to be brought back to the city, period. And it starts with the top. And if you want us to respect APD, they need to respect the community. For the last 2 years, they've been disrespecting this entire community, this family, and it stops here.
Shannon Peterson. Okay, that was the last individual to speak.
Now we're debating the substitute motion on item number 11A2. Is there further discussion on the substitute motion?
We need a motion, though.
Mayor,
I thought there was a
to
motion.
adopt the,
Approve the.
oh, move to approve, right, we adopted, so move to approve the substitute motion.
Okay. It's been
Second.
moved by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Horton to approve the substitute motion. Discussion?
Move the resolution.
Move the resolution.
You're going to approve the substituted resolution. So, I'll make sure we're clear.
Okay. The substitute, well, the 11A2 is amended by the substitute motion.
Right.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Sorry. Who's it?
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, although I appreciate that there were some changes made to the original resolution, in my opinion, it still does stifle the speech of our police chief. And if you read section 2, number 1, it has APD shall follow the city communications policies, procedures, and workflows. I don't know if anybody's really actually looked at that. I did printed out and looked at it. It's pretty complicated. And for an agency that needs to get public safety information out as soon as possible, I just don't think it is practical for the police chief to have to go through communications to have every single thing approved when he gets, for example, a media request, or if he is trying to tell the public about an incident that happened that can concern them, that can allow victims to come forward, that they may help in catching somebody. I don't think, but my question is, why was it an emergency resolution? It did not go to public safety. It completely bypassed the Public Safety Committee. It bypassed study session. So here we are, and it now also has a waiver of reconsideration. So it can't even be reconsidered. I don't know why we could not have had discussion on it. If we talk about collaboration, no one wants to collaborate when things go straight to the floor without any kind of, advance notice. We got this late Thursday. Most of us were in Washington, D.C. until Friday evening. And honestly, I think getting information out to residents right away is transparency and often is in the interest of safety. And I believe our chief and our commanders are uniquely qualified to speak about crime. We are not experts. City councils, we're not law enforcement officers, nor is the city manager. I think one of the things is that if they have to go, if the chief has to go to, for example, to the city manager for approval of something, I think it makes it really become political because the city manager is hired by council. So from that perspective, I think it makes it political. Also, I just want to point out that we had a situation a few years ago with some apartment complexes and Tren de Aragua, and that was terribly handled by communications. The information that went out originally was not accurate, and that really caused a lot of rumors to go out, and I think it actually hurt the city image. So on the opposite end, we were not transparent. We were not forthright in getting accurate information out to the public right away. And I don't know if that was to hide, to not have the city have a bad image or a bad reputation. But in the end, it actually made it way worse. I think if we would have come out with the right information from the police department, we could have avoided all that negative information that went out. And then lastly, just want to say that transparency and when transparency and communication are restricted, it actually weakens public trust. It limits factual understanding, and it creates space for misinformation and for speculation. It simply leaves us with fewer facts, and it allows a potential false narrative to be put out into the public. So I would be a no.
Further discussion?
Mayor? Mayor?
Yeah.
Oh, Councilmember Lawson. Councilmember
Councilmember
Lawson
Hancock.
first.
It's Councilmember Lawson? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. So over the weekend, we got many messages from residents about this particular resolution. And one of the things that came out of this resolution is transparency and protecting the public. So for example, in my neighborhood, if something's going on and then we can't have information about the person who possibly or allegedly committed the crime, then we're putting our neighborhood into a situation where it could be my next door neighbor, for example. And so without putting out any kind of mug shots, anything like that, to me think that's a devalue to the community and public safety as well. I even had a business owner contact me today stating that it's important for businesses to have information on what's going on, having this information out, who the suspects are, their names. If ages, I don't really care about that, and the person's mugshot. Because in that particular case, the businesses might have some issues with individuals. So I think that this right here, the transparency is very important. And I think the APD has done a good job on that, and people and residents have appreciated that. In the study session, we have 3 ballot initiatives that we're going to put on the ballot. One of them is for public safety. If you looked at the workshop, it was over, I think, an enormous amount of people who took the poll said that public safety is number one. Exclude all the buildings, exclude all of the equipment, exclude all the personnel, but this is part of public safety. So if we're going to stifle the voice of people, of the police department, then what's the point of having this public safety initiative, and what's the point of supporting public safety? Secondly, I don't want the city manager, and I'm looking at this as a resident and not as a policymaker, to go in and be approving I guess, these posts or anything like that because of the experience that he does not have in this arena. I want to hear from the public safety group. I want to hear from the police chief or other commanders that know about the issue and can reassure our residents. So I definitely don't, and this city council definitely doesn't need to approve anything because we can't even get our own messaging right. So I definitely disagree with this. And I think if this passes, and it will, that the community, what I call my residents who live in my neighborhood, should be in an outrage because we're not going to get any kind of information. And that's going to put a risk not only on yourself, but also your neighborhood and surrounding city that you live in. So I'm an absolute no on this resolution.
Councilmember Hancock.
Yes, Mayor, I am deeply disturbed by this. Why, first of all, is this considered an emergency? And why did it not go through Public Safety Committee? As Vice Chair of the Public Safety Committee, it should have gone through us to discuss. It is unfortunate that we're moving forward with this because let's call this exactly what this is: a direct attack on our police chief to muzzle the police chief, to muzzle our police, to make our city less safe. I'm out here at the ICSC conference right now, and you know the topic of discussion out here is going to be tomorrow and will continue to be, how safe is Aurora? Can we come to Aurora and do business? The number one thing that our constituents want is public safety. They want to know that our chief has the ability to use his expertise, his experience to keep our city safe, not bend to the whims and the ideological disposition of folks on this council who absolutely want to see this chief fired, and they want to do everything they can to put pressure on him so that he will quit. Well, I am an absolute no on this. We are the police union has come out against this. I've gotten dozens and dozens of emails saying we do not want this. I thought as a city council, we represent the needs, the wants of our constituents, not just a small minority who scream and holler and threaten. We need to not do this resolution. I am a hard no on this. And I know we're in the minority and you guys are going to pass it anyway, but I want to go on record as saying this is a bad idea.
Further discussion.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Just want to make some brief comments. I'm not going to get into all of the things. But I think the main and important piece is that factual information that is not tinged with personal opinion, political innuendo, and the beliefs of our chief about legislation. If he wants to talk about legislation, he should be a legislator. Transparency and respect for our public requires respecting our different roles, and it also absolutely requires not putting information out there that leads to what Ms. Marina Larena talked about. People feeling empowered to make absolutely disgusting comments about our neighbors, to make judgments that are grounded in the assumption that certain entire groups of our neighbors are inherently a threat. And that is what does happen on the APD pages. Because of the tone of innuendo, of opinion, of personal bias that is right now coloring what is coming out of our department. That undermines public trust, and it absolutely torches any credibility that we may have had over the incredible amount of work that many members of our department and our city staff have put into the consent decree. And so this is not preventing transparency. It's not preventing factual information. It provides specific exceptions for emergencies, for individuals who are not yet detained. And so I would urge my colleagues to support.
Councilmember Wiles.
Thank you, Mayor, and hopefully you can hear me. I too am out at ICSC trying to bring new businesses to our city. I think, to be perfectly honest, I was conflicted about this resolution because I'm trying to balance the ability for the public to have the information they need and be safe, while also being mindful of what is being released and keeping in mind the fact that we do have liability when we publish incorrect things or taint the jury pool and inhibit our prosecutors from being able to prosecute things correctly because of social media posts. And honestly, I think it's a shame that our police chief was not able to follow direction given to him previously to post just the facts. If he posted the facts, I would absolutely vote no on this. If there was a post that said Joe Smith was arrested for stealing a car, all people arrested are innocent until proven guilty, I would have no issue with that. I do have an issue with him posting things like Joe Smith was arrested for stealing a car. He terrorized the neighborhood, not in our city, not in our town. That puts us in a horrible position to be sued, especially if Joe Smith is then found not guilty. It also creates division. It creates racist comments. If you read through our police department statements, it's absolutely horrendous, the amount of hate and vitriol that is put in comments. And it starts from the top. It starts from the person who is posting. And had there been posts that were just factual, I would absolutely be voting no on this. But unfortunately, despite the repeated ask to say, just to state the facts, don't put your personal opinion into it, it simply has not happened. And that's unfortunate. And so I hate that we have to get to this point. I hate that we can't work together. I think it drives me absolutely insane that we are so polarized as a city. And I think it, honestly, for lack of a better word, it sucks. It sucks that this is how our city has devolved to just so hateful and so divided. And unfortunately, this is what's happened. And it starts with us at the top in leadership and the way we treat one another. And it is reflective of things that are posted on social media and the way that our leaders carry themselves. So again, it's unfortunate that it got to this, but it was led by posts that were created, unfortunately.
Further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Horton.
Thank you, Mayor. So, really, when you read the text of this resolution, it's very mundane, boring even, if I can argue, that this is about making sure a city department is in line with city expectations around communication on digital and social media platforms. It is identifying that there is a discrepancy that needs to be addressed. This is not, as to my colleagues have used the words stifling, muzzling, words that we have been inundated with in emails, right? It also is our responsibility as a governing body, not only to have the authority and say of legislation and where the city stands, but also, and reminding each other and our department heads and our law enforcement and any employees that constitutional guarantees like due process are extraordinarily important for what Council Member Amy Wiles said, so we don't get sued. And if there is an argument around money and like bring it on, well, I would argue we are going to about to be in a 20 million potential deficit for 2027. It may not be the right decision to go that route. And secondly, that as a governing body, it's incredibly important that yes, we're listening to our constituents, but we're also governing fairly and with justice, and we're not utilizing language, which our chief has,
Who wanted to speak?
around procedural justice to enforce his position of editorializing posts that do not need to, that puts our city in a terrible position. And what this does not do is it does not stifle. It makes sure that we can communicate effectively and factually with the public on public safety issues. As my colleagues have highlighted, is the #1 priority that has been expressed by multiple different communities across our city. Thank you.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. This question is for City Attorney. Have there been any concerns raised that APD releases have impacted the prosecution cases?
Yes, and I will state, I'll give an example. This was a post. I had a meeting with DA Amy Padden last week. This issue was brought to my attention. Even my prosecutors have the issues that if this information has been posted by the Aurora Police Department, it can affect the jury pool, it can cause issues. And I'll give an example. There are rules of evidence that happen in a court of law, right? One of them is about whether or not somebody's criminal history can be used against them when they're being prosecuted. And here's an example that we even discussed in our meeting. May 5th, quote, an extensive criminal history. It may have been the largest I've ever seen. I don't know what that would have added to the facts on this. And it goes down to say Barnes was arrested of kidnapping, motor vehicle theft, and so forth. Following his arrest, one of our sergeants on scene noted that Barnes' extensive criminal history was so long ago, quote, it may have been the largest I've ever seen. That is the issue that we're talking about here. It's about whether or not somebody has been convicted in a court of law with the rules of evidence, with having an attorney, having a judge, having all of those things. None of the conversations that I've had with the city manager, that I've had with the other city council members about this is trying to get APD to stop doing their good work and putting out factual information. We just don't need the added editorializing. And I stand with the DA, and I agree with what she had asked and what we talked about. As the chief prosecutor for the city, I need to make sure that all the rights of the accused and the rights of the people that I represent are protected. And I wish that these posts didn't say this, but I on the record, that is my position on these issues.
Further discussion?
Mayor?
Councilmember Bergen.
Yeah, just to that point. So if there's a person that got arrested for, I don't know, rape, something bad, and they post bond and they're out there in the community, and maybe they raped a child and they're out there, and it has happened where the people aren't put in jail right away and they post bond. Should the public not be able to have that information and protect themselves? So I don't buy this, that they have to plead guilty first, that they have to go through the process. Sometimes posting that information actually can help us make sure that there are not other victims. And I would say the majority of the public appreciates those postings that have been put out by APD. They, if you look at the comments, they're like, great job, APD. Thank you for letting us know. Put the bad guy in jail. I mean, I don't see anybody coming to the defense of people who are arrested, as a small minority of people seem to want to protect the criminals and not the victims.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to clarify that is why the amendments were made, and that it was indicated that the city manager shall create a policy that includes those exceptions. Is if there is an imminent public safety risk, if there's a public safety emergency. So someone being released pre-adjudication and being therefore in the community and potentially a threat to the community would be an example of what can be built into that policy of instances where there's an exception.
Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 11A2.
Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Wiles.
No.
That was Councilmember Hancock.
Hancock, no.
Councilmember Wiles.
Yes.
The motion passes with 6 yes votes, 4 no votes from Councilmember Bergen, Gardner, Hancock, and Lawson to adopt item 11A2.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 13A?
Item 13A is introduction of ordinance 2026-19 to exercise the power of eminent domain for acquisition of certain real property interests necessary for the Colfax Bus Rapid Transit Project.
A brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Kirk, Director of Public Works. Item 13A this evening is a proposed eminent domain ordinance. The proposed ordinance will allow for the acquisition of temporary and permanent easements that facilitate the construction of the Colfax Bus Rapid Transit Project. Just a quick reminder that easements are the right to use the property and do not actually involve taking possession of the property. These easements are needed to complete Aurora section of the Colfax Bus Rapid Transit Project, which constructs improvements along Colfax Avenue from Yosemite to I-225 that will facilitate more reliable and frequent bus service through this corridor. Proposed ordinance would ensure that all the necessary easements were obtained and that there are no delays to the current construction schedule. Eminent domain will always be used as a last resort, and staff will continue to try and negotiate a mutual agreement based on the appraised value of each easement needed and the property owner. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
motion to approve item 13A.
It's been moved by the Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by?
Second.
Okay, second by Councilmember Jackson. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on item number 13A.
Katie, I'm a yes.
Councilmember Wiles.
Yes, Katie, thank you.
Councilmember Gardner. The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 13A.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 15A.
Item 15A is Resolution 2026-56, finding a petition for annexation of 2 parcels of land located in the south half of the southeast quarter of Section 12, Township 4 South, Range 66 West of the 6th Principal Meridian at Arapahoe County, Colorado, to be in substantial compliance with Sections 31-12-1071 CRS, and giving notice of a public hearing on the proposed annexation.
A brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Justin Andrews. I'm a project manager with the Office of Development Assistance. Items 15A and 15B tonight are associated annexations, the related properties being annexed separately in a series to ensure compliance with state statutes and contiguity requirements. So for 15A, a petition for annexation was filed with the city clerk for annexation of 2 parcels of land totaling 20.491 acres, owned by 7N LLC. These parcels are located at the southwest corner of South Gun Club and East Bayard Avenue. These parcels fall within the city's annexation boundary and meet contiguity requirements. The annexation process follows state law, and this annexation will be considered over 3 city council meetings. Tonight's meeting, in which city council considers approval of a resolution making finding that the petition is in substantial compliance with statutory requirements and sets the public hearing for June 22nd. There's no separate presentation by the applicant, and we're available for questions.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
motion to approve item 15A.
Moved by the Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Medina to approve item number 15A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15A.
Katie Hancock, I'm a yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Wiles.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 15A.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 15B.
Item 15B is Resolution 2026-57, finding a petition for annexation of 3 parcels of land located in the southwest quarter, Section 7, Township 4 South, Range 65 west of the 6 p.m. and the south half of the southeast 1/4, Section 12, Township 4 South, Range 66 west of the 6 p.m., County of Arapahoe, State of Colorado, to be in substantial compliance with Section 3112-1071 CRS and giving notice of a public hearing on the proposed annexation.
Questions of staff? I'm sorry, brief presentation by staff.
Thank you. Petition for annexation was filed with the city clerk for annexation of 2 parcels totaling 46.6 acres owned by PCG Holdings, LLC. This parcel is also located at the southeast corner of Gun Club Road and East Bayard Avenue on both the east and west side of South Gun Club Road. The parcels fall within the city's annexation boundary and meet contiguity requirements. The annexation process follows state law, and this annexation will also be considered over these next 3 council meetings. Tonight's meeting, in which City Council considers this approval for a resolution making a finding that the petition is in substantial compliance with statutory requirements, and sets the public hearing date for June 22nd.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 15B.
Moved by Councilmember Medina, seconded by?
Coombs.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Coombs to approve item number 15B. Discussion? Oh,
I just want
Councilmember
to say
Coombs.
it seems like being a city clerk should qualify you to be an auctioneer in the future with all the stuff you have to read off.
Discussion. Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15B.
Katie, I'm a yes. Hancock.
Thank you. Councilmember Wiles?
Yes, as well, Katie, thank you.
Councilmember Jackson? Thank you. The motion passes unanimously to adopt item 15B.
Reports, Councilmember Andrews.
No report.
Mayor Pro Tem Coombs.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to make sure folks know that we do have our next meeting on decorum, and I guess there was a little bit of confusion about the dates. It will be on the 26th, which is a Tuesday, at 5:30 p.m. In the Aurora room. And that will also be our final Rules Committee meeting on decorum, but we will continue to discuss public meeting, virtual participation, as well as make recommendations on City Council travel budgets and introduce new items for consideration. So please feel free to join us for that. And then, of course, tonight has been a pretty intense evening in this chamber. And I do appreciate the invitation to think about how we view reactions that are louder, and how we often don't see some of the actions that are provocative, that both privilege and presentation can lead to folks just ignoring and giving a pass to conduct that's inflammatory and dangerous. And everyone in this chamber should have the right to be heard. Everyone in this chamber should also have the right to be here without feeling threatened. And everyone has a responsibility for making sure that happens. And then just on another note, I have heard from some of our community members that there is a lot of pain in our Aurora Muslim community and among American Muslims more generally. Folks are feeling vulnerable and deeply troubled by the targeting of their community that occurred at the shooting of the Islamic Center of San Diego. As Aurora, we commit ourselves to welcoming all people, including all faith communities, and everyone should be free to worship and practice their faith without intimidation, fear, or targeting. Anti-Muslim hatred is on the rise across America, and it's incumbent on all of us to push back on that. And with that, I'd like to request a brief moment of silence.
Councilmember Gardner. Councilmember Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to use my time for updates to do a final shout out for National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month. Particularly, I wanted to acknowledge Pakistani political scientist Iqbal Ahmed and read a quote about truth from him. Each person knows some truth, and I really think that almost anyone who's listening to you and me right now has some knowledge, some truth, some understanding of the world that is different from that of the dominant media institutions. The moment you find that your truth clashes with what is being peddled as their truth, intervene. So learn, look for alternative sources, for without alternative sources, without pluralism, there is no democracy. And I just wanted to plug 2 events that are happening. Well, one's an exhibit that will be going on for a year at our Aurora History Museum. It is the mosaic of cultures around Aurora's Filipino community. So please, if you have time, check that out. It will be running until April of next year. And then tomorrow from noon to 1 on the Great Lawn outside of this building, the City of Aurora will be hosting their official National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month celebration. So hope to see community there. Thank you.
Councilmember Horton.
All right. Thanks, Mayor. A few things that there we go. All right, a few things that I've been up to. Was able to present an update around the work being done for police accountability to the Consent Decrees Community Advisory Council last week. It was many of the originals that were when we started back in March of 2022. So it was beneficial to be in like-minded company where we all come from all walks of life, but very much care about what accountability looks like when it comes up with law enforcement. The second piece is went to the State of the City luncheon, my first time attending. Really appreciated Mayor Kaufman sharing the work that each individual council member is focused on. We also had our spring workshop, a number of presentations around Build Up Aurora and also our budget. I know I mentioned that earlier. If folks are interested in learning more, we are projected to be in a budget deficit. There are many conversations I know staff is having around what does that look like, and what, especially in terms of our services to the community. So more information pending. I also hosted a Know Your Rights training and Lyric, which is an organization called Learn Your Rights in Community. They are primarily volunteer public defenders who come and do a presentation on 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments and how to apply those when encountering law enforcement, particularly for our youth. And so I really appreciate the 2 partners, the 2 organizations I worked with, which was DBOA, and I always forget what it stands for, Driven by Our Own Ambitions, and then the McBride Foundation. The Road Call Straight really came out in a lot of numbers with their young people and staff. So shout out to them for redirecting their Thursday programming to attend this Know Your Rights workshop. The next is Aurora 911 tour that I did just this morning. It was really beneficial to see the inner workings of Aurora 911. You can follow them on socials at Aurora 911. They are the first call that a lot of communities members make when there is something happening. And I really appreciated the time that they spent educating me about their processes, how I could support as city council, and understanding their role in the public safety infrastructure. I do want to remind folks that my Ward 1 Town Hall is not next Thursday, but it's this Thursday, because I am traveling for my full time next week, and I just want to make sure that folks know that the schedule has changed. So the Ward 1 Town Hall will be this Thursday, May 21st, starts at 6 p.m. We're going to be at the MLK Library this month. And on the agenda, we have Housing Forward. Secondly, we have Access Aurora. And third, we have Code Enforcement. So it's going to be a pretty packed agenda. I'm also going to make time for the last 30 minutes if those who want to stay around to talk, because I know there's a lot going on in Ward 1. And, these presentations may take the full hour and a half, but I am still here to listen, engage, and problem solve. So thank you.
Councilmember Wiles.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I do want to express my deepest condolences to the Muslim community and the pain that they're realizing right now. I think that it's reflective of a lot of the things we talked about today. And I would just like to offer any apologies that I owe for not potentially listening to other people. I think we're the leaders of this community, and we don't do a good job of listening and respecting one another, much less the community in general. And if we want change to happen, it absolutely has to start with us in the way that we treat one another, the words that we use, and the way that we interact with not only ourselves, but with our community. Because if not, we are on a very slippery slope to increase the hatred and potentially see a hate crime like San Diego has seen here in Aurora. And our community is diverse, and we all bring unique things to the table. And I think each of us needs to think a little bit about how we are engaging with one another. This weekend, I was at Special Olympics in between the two city trips that I took last week and now this week. And I was volunteering on Sunday, and I was talking to a young man who is a Special Olympics athlete. I see him often at the different events that I help out at. And he said, I hate, and let me read it directly. He said, I hate how mean everybody has become. We should be better than this, and we're not. We're following farther and farther down, and it hurts my heart and it makes me sad. And I think that that's reflective of how many of us feel right now. And I would just like to ask us all to do better. I think we're just in a really sad place right now, and we owe it to the future, to our kids, to do better. So I'll get off my soapbox, but that young man's words stuck with me, and I think we all owe him to do a better job than what we're doing right now.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. I got to go to the Lotus School graduation for the seniors to show out a proclamation for all the success of the seniors who we did a proclamation here for them when they came here to thank them for all the dedication for their program around tutoring younger students. They graduated around 57 students. More than half of them are going to colleges here in the state, and many others are going out of state and a variety of different colleges. So it was great to see a diverse community coming out, but also going out in the world and continuing their positivity. So thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to remind everyone that my town hall is this Thursday at Noonan's at 6 p.m. We will start with the half-hour networking. So if you have a business in Ward 4 and you want to come and share, we certainly are open to that. And we're going to have a very interesting and lively agenda. Bring a friend or three and come on over. I think you will be very pleased. We always have good meetings at Ward 4. I got an email today from someone, and it's from Karen, and she said, or Kathy, excuse me, she said, I attended the April 20th, 26th City Council meeting in person. I wanted to speak in person this evening, but after seeing how the council was treated on April 20th and the many times I viewed online with the profanity, disrespectful comments, clicking of fingers, clapping, shouting, bullying, groups, and threats, I will no longer be able to embrace the privilege of speaking in person again. I don't feel safe. I don't want to sign up with my address for fear of being doxxed and retaliated by those who show no courtesy, respect for any platform, public or private, much less our homes in which we should feel the safest. Unfortunately, extremists are running the meetings and they have succeeded in their goal to make sure that those who have a difference of opinion are never heard. Public safety has always been my first concern and should be that of the City Council. And it is for some of you, but not for all of you, which is beyond troubling. We've lost our voice because of a few who focus on the rule of chaos, control and silence of everyone with differing views. I'm sorry, I just can't attend anymore. And that makes me sad that people feel like that. I don't know the benefit of these decorum meetings when we continue to attack one side or the other. I don't think it moves the ball forward or helps anyone. And unless everyone agrees to follow the rules, we will continue to have what we have every single week, which is beyond the pale. I believe in having vigorous discussion between folks of differing opinions, but to the level that it has devolved is really staggering. Lastly, I wanted to make mention, we have religious differences all over the world, and one group that has not been talked about much in the news lately have been the Christians who have been persecuted, kidnapped, murdered in Nigeria. And also pastors who have been arrested in front of abortion clinics in the United States. They're not harassing people. They're simply standing there reading the Bible and asking people to make a different choice. Our country was founded on freedom of religion, except in some cases if you're a Christian. And it's unfortunate that we're coming to the place where it is so divisive that explanations and demonstrations of your faith are marked with violence, and it brings our whole country down. So in light of that, I would like a moment of silence for Christians who are being persecuted around the world. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Lawson is not feeling well. Councilmember Bergen. Councilmember Bergen? Okay, Councilmember Bergen is not available. Let me just say that on April 10th, so I have a program where I visit different religious faiths. And so I go to my own church, and then every other week I'll go to somewhere else. And sometimes I go to a mosque, and sometimes I'll go to a Buddhist temple. And we have a synagogue in Aurora as well. And so I posted my visit to the mosque the visit was on April 10th, and it went viral, but in a negative way. And there were 3,600 comments on that post. And again, most of them were pretty ugly, pretty intolerant, and it really, really shocked me. And here's what I say on the post is pretty simple. It's kind of a lot of it's just sort of boilerplate. I said, I'm a Christian, but I stand by Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, and Buddhists, and Aurora's diverse faith community to protect their right to practice their religion without fear of discrimination and intimidation. And I go, if you want me to attend your church, mosque, synagogue, or temple, please reach out and then to my office. But I was really, and it really struck me that in a city that is diverse culturally and in different faiths, that we're not at all as tolerant as we think we are. So, and that was disappointing, and I hope that we can heal those divisions. With that, public invited to be heard.
Ayante Anderson, followed by Median Schaffner.
Yet again, prepared remarks deterred by comments heard on the dais. I am a Christian, I was raised by a wonderful, beautiful Black grandmother who taught me to love my faith, to be a man of God, and to give my life to Christ. But something in my spirit doesn't sit right with what I just saw. I felt that there was an us versus them mentality in Councilmember Hancock's comments of, yeah, you talked about the Muslim community, but let's talk about the Christians. That, in my opinion, it feels like when Black folks talk about racism and then white folks come up and be like, but you do know that there were Africans that did enslave other Africans. What the fuck was the point of that? And I feel offended that faith was attempted to silence, one faith was being used to attempt to silence another faith or upstage what members were trying to call attention to. There wasn't a shooting at a Christian church that took place that we were referencing here today. There wasn't a shooting at a synagogue that we were referencing here today. There was a reference to a mosque being attacked. A mosque being attacked. And respectfully, Mayor Kaufman, I'm not surprised by the folks that are on your post. Those are the folks that are emailing you about decorum. Those are the folks that are saying, shut that family and their advocates down. Those are the folks that are talking and making fun of those on the APD's Facebook post. Those folks are showing their asses every single time they get on social media. It's not about folks being intimidated to come to a city council meeting. It's because they know that they don't want to put their own face to the racism. They know they don't want to have that smoke. They want to sit and call us niggers. That's what some of those folks would like to do, but they are too afraid to walk into this chamber and to say it to our faces. So, I always open public discourse, but just know that if you nuck, I'm always going to buck. And now, let's have a true moment of silence for those who lost their lives in that tragic shooting. Ashe.
Dean Schaffner, followed by LaRonda Jones.
So I just want to start off by saying I checked in on the young man that was removed from the chambers, and he is safe. He is hurt, but he is safe. So just in case anyone was curious or concerned about his safety. Tonight you passed a resolution that is now inviting in an opportunity for the leadership of your policing system to shift their culture. But what it also invites in, city council, city manager, and all affiliated staff, you now have a tool to measure the performance of your police chief. There has been, in your own words, dissent of instructions. And despite what you have instructed, he has done what he wanted to do anyway. You now are equipped with the tools you need to measure his performance. And if said employee does not perform, you have a responsibility to make a shift and a change. So you now have ushered yourselves into being the leaders that were voted in to do a job. Additionally, I was inside of the study session watching the ordinance discussion. You have a First Amendment issue with your study session, but I will not go into that. I will let you all know on your own to see how you do with that information. But the ordinance that you all have put forth, I will say, is a start. We appreciate that you are at the starting line, but there is so much more to do. We sent an ordinance proposal, and as we watched to see what this ordinance was set to do, it was very clear what was adopted, but it was very clear what was not adopted. Members of this community that have been standing in this journey have gone to the state legislature and sat in stakeholding conversations with law enforcement at the table, with district attorneys at the table, with police union representation at the table, along with legislators that understood that there was an assignment that was due. We have the clarity, and now we have proven that we have the capacity. We expect to stakehold with you all as the city, not just be told what you will accept. So we anticipate that there will be an invitation for stakeholding, because we will not go away with the simple modifications that will come from that ordinance. We're watching.
Veronica Jones, followed by Ellen Wu.
As Median stated, that we started here, which we didn't get no help in anything as it was back then. The majority was not progressive, put it that way. And they said they couldn't do nothing for us, so we went to state. Then the new city council members was voted in along with Allison and all of them that was still on, and now we're making headway. And it, like I said, it took day and night, hours, day after day after day, months after months, years after whatever, but we got the job done. And that's just a starting point. That was just a mere starting point, because like Median said, we have a long way to go. And we're gonna stay up many more nights and days and weeks and months, however long it takes, because it's a lot of work to do. And if you guys, for the people who don't like that this bill has made into law, you're not gonna like the new bills that's coming into effect. I promise you. For everyone, everyone that comes in contact with police are not all criminals. You do know that there are innocent people in prison right now because they were judged prematurely and sentenced unjustly. For the council members who said they have received numerous emails stating community aren't in favor of this resolution, we have engaged with many communities as well, and that they are in favor of the resolution. So I think more people are in favor of the resolution that's in these communities than not. Just accept the fact that this is a start for a new beginning for positive change. If you don't like the changes that's taking place now for police accountability, just wait for what changes in the future enforcement of accountability of police departments on a much deeper level, because I don't think you're ready for it. But it's because we already got things already put in place, writing out still, working on, that this is just a mere surface of everything right now that's happening. It's gonna go on a much deeper level than this. So I'm telling all counties, not just Aurora, but all counties, get ready to rumble in this fight.
Ellen Wu, followed by Veronica Sebron.
What's good for thee is not for me. So I was going to speak on many things, but I'm not going to go into depth on them. But today, May is National AA NHPI Month, and the hate continues. It is at least still at the COVID-19 levels. I also was going to speak about the budget. And it shows the generations of neglect are going to continue, but I'll speak about that later. But I'm going to give you historical context of what has been happening with this council, past administrations, and there are the reported sexual harassments, the reported hate and mockery, and it was supported not only by the mayor, but the city manager, city attorney, and with words of, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I think you need to take a look at this is an environment and a culture that supports hate and racism. The generations of neglect show of impacted communities. That's racism. For those of you that don't know, the Asian communities were redlined. My history is with the Chinese Exclusion Act. That is racism. And I'm going to bring up Kim Wong-ark, who fought for the 14th Amendment. That's the birthright. Vincent Chin, who was murdered by 2 white auto workers. And the federal charges, the judge said, oh, these are white men. They would never do anything like that. If you don't know about Vincent Chin, read that history. Read about all the other racist attacks. The Amachi camp. This chamber, there are electeds that do not believe in breaking down those systemic changes, those barriers. There is not a sense of generation wealth. We have been impacted. My parents and my elders, my ancestors, they were not rich. All they knew was poor and hunger. They knew of war. They came for a better life. And to hear and to bring that back up.
Veronica Sebron.
So you know what I heard tonight? I heard that a black man, Kylan Lewis, was gunned down. But I heard that his son had such a joyous day. His family was congratulated by him graduating. You know what else I heard tonight? Francois robbed a bank. Mike Kaufman was the getaway driver. But guess what? Stephanie Hancock is taking people back to her motherland, turning them black. Now, only one of those was facts.
Come on.
The rest was false narratives we could have did without and wasted my time. Stephanie, you're not here for me to look at you eye to eye, but I doubt we would have did it even if you was. I want to point out that you refer to your chief of police, who you support. And when you referred to him, you used the term muzzled him. I would like to point out muzzles are for dogs. But maybe that term was right, and it was right out of your mouth. Bergman, Hancock, and Josh Chamberlain, I question, why do you promote sending out false information for your own comfort? What's wrong with only releasing the facts and letting the community know the situation is under control and we will get back to you? We will update as we know. Instead of putting out conflicting statements that was said by police officers they'd rather choose to do. But that makes your community safe. What's wrong with not shining a light on past records, as that did not make the officer shoot that person that day? It only excuses the aftermath. And you speak on public safety after we are burying and somebody is put to the ground? What happened to their safety? That safety was lost at the hands of a peace officer. But you're worried about what you hear within your own home. You're not out and about in the public listening to the news. You're in the safety of your house. You're not on social media because you want to know what's going on in your surrounding at the moment. You're on social media for leisure. I'm sure you felt safe as you checked that. But I guess, in the words of the Jurinsky family, haters are going to hate. I only see those who have a problem with the rules are those who have been breaking the rules.
Come on.
Let's get it together.
That was the last individual. That was it.
No worries. Seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.